We'll now go into the agenda of the Prattville City Council meeting tonight, starting at approximately 6:02 p.m. If you'll stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag tonight, the invocation will be given by Councilman Willie Wood.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Lord, for being with us this day. Now, shut in those who are bereaved, those who are fighting as we conduct business in this city. God, our tongue. State, United States, be with the leaders. Bless us in a mighty way, guide us in everything that we do. Lead us, mighty Lord, protect us and let us arrive to our destination.
Excuse me. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Councilman Strickland. Here. Councilman Wood. Here. Councilman Argo. Here. Councilman Miller. Here. Councilman Reniger.
Here.
Councilman Bowles. Here. Councilman Fank.
Here. We'll call the council meeting to order. The character trait of the month is flexibility, adjusting plans or ideas without being upset. Words for the wise there. You have received copies of the minutes from the public hearing and the City Council meeting from July 19th and also the work session from July 26th. Are there any proposed amendments to these minutes? Chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes. Do I hear a motion? So moved. Is that Councilman Fank? Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Argo. Any discussion on the approval of the minutes? All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Any opposition by like sign? Seeing none, the minutes are approved. This time, we'll get into the comments from persons present regarding tonight's agenda items only. If you have a comment that you would like to make or a statement you'd like to make pertaining to the agenda items that are on our docket tonight, we'll entertain them at this time. Is there anyone that would like to address the council on the agenda items tonight? Okay. Seeing none, Mayor, I'd like to have your report now, if we may.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It's first off, this report, I want to go ahead and start off by talking about our judicial system over here and the amnesty program that we had set up. To date, we've had $7,536 collected, but I guess the biggest comment I need to make on this is that in the warrants that altogether that we have collected have been roughly somewhere around $13,000. So where it has been a successful event, not as big as I had initially planned, but it definitely got the people whose name were on our list. It did get their attention. So it is a process that is working, and we have plans of working this every month till we get this judicial issue taken care of. But I want to thank Charlotte and her crew for all the hard work that they have done to make this the success that it has been, and then hopefully in the near future it'll be even a bigger success for the city. The next item I want to talk about is our sales tax receipts, which I have already put in front of you, gentlemen, some numbers there that were provided by our finance director, and it talks about our July 2011 sales tax numbers there, whereas we did have a decrease in the overall, in our sales tax numbers. If you remove our 1 cent sales tax, we are up we are up when we throw the 1 penny sales tax in there. And just to give you a history, I had Doug Mosley to pull these numbers. Going back to 07, we started with 07. Our sales tax number for that year was 1.3. In 2008, our sales tax number was 1.5, which was a 20% increase over 07. 09, we were down 13%, which was 1.3. 2010, we were up 16%, which was almost a $1.6 million sales tax number for that month. This year, we're down 6.8%, which is right at $1.5 million. So for some reason or another, that month has always seen a pretty much of a cycle, up and down, up and down. But the overall number was up, and so I think that's the main thing we need to be truly looking at, that it does help out with our debt service there, and I do look forward to our next sales tax report of being a better one than this one. But that is some information I've provided with you guys already, and hopefully it will be helpful as we go into our budget cycle here real soon. The other thing I want to talk about is resolution number 3. That's the release of $97,800 to remind everybody up here that we've been getting, have gotten that money from basically a performance bond. We've worked closely with Bank Trust in getting this money. So this is actually money that has been collected by the city to finish this project that has been sitting idle for some time. So hopefully you guys can go ahead and approve that tonight, and we can move forward with it. It's basically the final wear surface for that subdivision and for Old Farm Lane. And if you can move forward with that tonight, that way we can keep that project moving. And after that, I'd like to call on Gene Hall to give us a report for our fair, our upcoming fair in the.
I don't
So.
want to step out of turn.
No, sir.
I'll just wait. Thank you. I'll wait.
Okay.
It's not on the agenda.
Well, we're past that, Mr. Hall.
Going once.
Thank you.
Mayor asked for a boon, and I'm inclined to give it to him. We're glad to have you.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Hall was a former councilman for many years, and we're always happy to have him here.
First thing I want to announce the date of this carnival. Talk County Fair is October the 4th through the 8th, 1 week earlier than last year. We won't be Montgomery won't be competing with us. I'll get out in a minute. We were last year. But anyway, another thing, back in the spring, the Talk County Fair donated $1,000 to Elmore County bad weather system. You can tell I'm nervous, so I don't do this very often. And a long friend of mine, y'all know Mr. Buddy Shavers. Buddy Shavers donated $1,000 to the same that we did. So I think somebody you see him might mention to him. Now, this was in the progress Saturday morning. We are going to challenge any other civic club will match their donation to of a total amount of civic clubs up to $2,000 by the 9th of August. And we will do that from our funds. We think it's something we do for the community, and we're certainly glad to do it. It's an overwhelming vote on my board to do that. So if you know of anybody, I know you all do, civic clubs, tell them we need it bad. Just do the right thing. And one other thing, this adjusting plans are ideas without being upset. I'm a little upset. I go down Sheila Boulevard the other afternoon, go in the post office. It come one of the worst storms I've ever seen. And I've been long years around. It's 76 years I've been around here. It threw me, I hit a hole of water, patch away. It threw me into a mailbox, slapped my rearview mirror off. And I went back and looked, and it didn't hurt the mailbox very bad, but it sure tore my mirror up. And it was protruding past the curb. As of now, they're building a brick and concrete mailbox that's adjacent to the curb. And I'm glad I didn't hit that. I could have just as well. But thank you for your time. I invite you all to come to the fair, and we'll be talking to you later. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Any questions from Mr. Hall while he's here? Thank you, Mr. Hall. Mayor, continue if you like. Are you through?
I'm through.
Okay, thank you very much. Oh, any questions for the mayor? Councilman Wood.
Yeah, before you leave, Mayor, I just want to make sure I'm clear on this resolution number 3 for $97,800, and I want to talk about it again. You said the money came from where?
Bank trust and also the performance bond from the developer.
Okay.
This is, like I say, it's money that we have already received. We're just waiting to have it released, and that way we can move forward.
So it's just actually sitting in an account from this letter of credit?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And basically,
That's what I'm gonna make
it's not our money. It's dedicated for this project.
Thank you.
Any other questions of the mayor? Councilman Argo.
I have a question. Mayor, first of all, thank you for the sales tax numbers. I do have a question. The net sales tax for July 2011 with the 1 penny sales tax was $1.899 million.
Yes, sir.
Sales tax for July without the sales tax increase was $1.407.
Yes, sir.
So that means that right at $500,000 was generated from the 1 penny sales tax. And that $500,000 is dedicated to debt payment.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that just automatically sent to pay the debt, or is it put into a fund and accumulated, and then we hope to use that to not have to take out the entire $3.1 million that we would normally have to take out next November? How do we take that money and actually apply it to the debt?
It does go into a separate fund, a debt fund, and then after it's accumulated to a certain point, then we go ahead and pay it off. And
That's
we
what I
should
thought.
be paying this, if I remember correctly, from the last council last council meeting, we should be paying it off with the remainder. We should be paying the $1 million off this month. Yeah, this month we should be paying the $1 million bridge loan off.
And that's what I was getting at, because Mr. Mosley said at the last meeting that we owed about $333 or
yes, sir.
$340, something like that, and we were going to hopefully pay that off.
Yes.
So that's what I needed to know.
So
Thank you.
and after that, this money is strictly dedicated for debt service.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the mayor? Thank you, Mayor. Okay, we'll get into the reports from the different council members and special committees. Councilman Striplin?
No report.
Councilman Wood?
No.
Councilman Argo?
Yes, sir. I know y'all are going to get tired of talking about wastewater and redistricting, but that's my two committees. So real quickly on wastewater, the wastewater committee met with Goodwin Mills and Kaywood and Rick Teague at the Tauga Creek plant last week. We had an opportunity to take a tour and also to hear the update on Goodwin Mills and Kaywood doing our 5-year master plan and assessment of our facilities and our needs. We are going to have another meeting this week with Goodwin Mills and Kaywood. They hopefully are going to be able to start talking to us about a draft of their report that we'll be able to present to the council in the near future. I'm very pleased with the way things are progressing. Rick and his group are doing a fantastic job in making sure that Goodwin Mills and Kaywood has all the information that they need in order to put together our master plan and our needs assessment. Also want to report quickly on redistricting. The redistricting committee has met with Mr. Duke. We have gone over all of the ideas and suggestions that were gathered through initial meetings with individual council members and the redistricting committee. We feel like that we're going to have a draft ready for the council to look at our next meeting. Which we will introduce it at that time. We will then ask, Mr. Chair, we will ask you to call a public hearing for the 30th of August, which is a Tuesday, which is the week prior to our first meeting in September, where the general public will have an opportunity to react to that. We're also going to ask the mayor and Teresa Lee to take that draft of that plan when it's introduced, put it on the website, give the public an opportunity to look at it 2 weeks prior to the public hearing, so that they will have plenty of opportunity to ask questions and get information prior to the public hearing. And then if everything goes the the way we hope that it will. We hope to be able to adopt it at our first meeting in September, which will be a full year and 1 month prior, or actually 1 full year prior to the next election, which the general public will have plenty of time to then know where their public polling place is going to be and in whose district they will be located. So, Mr. Chair, I just want to report to you that the Wastewater Committee and the Redistricting Committee are working hard, and we hope to have reports to you in the next 2 weeks.
Thank you, Mr. Argo. Councilman Miller.
Yeah, on the Fire Committee, as I mentioned before, our main recent topic has been the city-county ambulance contract and refining that. And we have a Fire Committee meeting scheduled for next Tuesday, August 9th at 4 o'clock, and that'll be in the annex. And the topics will be to continue that discussion over the ambulance contract and also reviewing the preliminary budget for the fire department as we enter that phase of our work with the budget doings right around the corner.
Councilman Bowles. No, sir. Councilman Faint. No, sir. We will get into our agenda now. Item number 1 is a resolution to declare weeded lots to be a public nuisance and ordering their abatement per Title 11, Chapter 67 of the Code of Alabama, 1975, as amended. Councilman Miller, will you introduce this resolution, please?
Whereas an abundance of overgrown grass or weeds, 1, is injurious to the public health, safety, and general welfare by providing a breeding ground and shelter for rats, mice, snakes, and mosquitoes and other vermin. 2, may cause the further spread of weeds. 3, may hide debris such as glass or metal that could inflict injury on a person going to such property. And 4, may also pose a fire hazard and respiratory hazard. And whereas the City Council of the City of Prattville declared in Resolution Book 2011, page 116, that the abundance of overgrown grass and weeds at various addresses in the City of Prattville constituted a public nuisance and set a public hearing to discuss said nuisances. And whereas notice is required by Section 11-67-62 of the Code of Alabama, 1975, as amended, was provided in the Prattville Progress by certified mail and by signage on the subject property. And whereas the Prattville Planning Department has inspected the properties listed in Resolution Book 2011, page 116, adopted on July 5, 2011, and determined that the public nuisance still exists. And whereas the City Council of the City of Prattville held the required public hearing at 6 p.m. on August 2, 2011, permitting the owners of same properties listed in Resolution Book 2011, page 116, to present evidence, objections, and protests regarding the proposed removal of weeds. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Prattville declares that the abundance of overgrown grass and weeds on the properties continue to be a public nuisance. 433 Bedford Terrace, 128 Country Club Drive, 308 Festival Drive, 421 Hallmark Drive, 625 Prairie View Drive, vacant lot next to 640 Mal West Street, 617 Woodvale Road. Be it further resolved that the mayor shall have the overgrown grass and weeds on the property listed above cut or removed using city forces or the private contractors listed in Attachment A. Any property owner shall have the right to have any weeds removed at his or her own expense, provided the removal is done prior to the commencement of work by employees or agents of the City of Prattville. The mayor shall keep an accounting of all costs related to the removal of overgrown grass and weeds and report such costs to the City Council following their removal. Mr. President, I so move.
Councilman Miller has moved resolution number 1. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilman Striplin. Are there any questions or comments about this resolution? All in favor of this resolution signify by raising your right hand. Any opposition by like sign? Seeing none, this resolution is approved. Next item is a resolution to appoint Stephanie J. Sutherland as City Clerk for the remainder of the 2008 quadrennium. Councilman Striplin, will you introduce this resolution, please?
Yes, sir. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that Stephanie J. Sutherland be appointed as City Clerk of the City of Prattville for the remainder of the 2008 quadrennium or until her successor is duly appointed. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Councilman Striplin has moved this resolution. Is there a second? Second. Seem to be several seconds. I think Councilman Bowles was first on the trigger, so we'll put him down as the second. Any comments or questions about this resolution? Councilman Bowles.
I just wanted to say a quick note. I really appreciate everything you've done, Ms. Sutherland. You've worked 2 jobs. You haven't complained. Everything's been spot on. And this should have been done weeks and weeks ago, and congratulations. Thank you for your hard work.
Any other comments, questions? Councilman Strickland, do you have a name? Oh, Councilman Miller.
I can't pass this opportunity up. I have got to say how much I appreciate everything that you have done, Ms. Sutherland. You've done a yeoman's job. You've been a class act, a professional, a hard worker, and have certainly made my life a lot easier during my brief stint as council president and as a councilman. And that didn't just happen, when we had our recent changes. The whole time that you've been here, even when you were assistant city clerk, I think all those same accolades, I would have made them throughout that time frame as well. I am really grateful for all that you've contributed to the city and will continue to contribute.
Anyone else like to make a comment? Councilman Argo?
Yes, sir. Cannot allow this moment to go by either. And I want to tell Stephanie how much I appreciate her hard work. As has been pointed out many times, I served as president of this council for 10 years. Much of that time I had an opportunity to work directly with Stephanie. Never found her to be anything but polite, professional, always willing to help. Never had her have an opportunity where she said, I cannot do that, can't get to it, can't be done. It was always, I will have it ready for you, and I appreciate her more than she knows. And I think this is a title that has been long in coming to her, and I am proud to be able tonight to be able to sit here and vote in favor of it. So I just want to tell her how much I appreciate her. Thank you, Stephanie.
Any other comments from any other councilman? This time the chair will pass the gavel to the President Pro Tem and ask to be recognized.
President Pro Tem has the gavel. Yes, recognized Council President Reniger.
When I was vested with this responsibility as President of City Council, I was looking for somebody to keep me straight, just like my wife keeps me straight at home. Stephanie stepped up, and she was more than capable in doing that. Thank you, Stephanie, for all your hard work and for your friendship. Congratulations to you. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a unanimous vote once we get to it. Thank you.
Let it be noted that the gavel is being passed.
Any further comments? Okay. All those in favor of this resolution signify by raising your right hand. Any opposition by like sign? Seeing none, this resolution is passed. Congratulations to Mrs. Sutherland. Resolution number 3, or the third item, is resolution requesting to release funds for the completion of improvements of Pendlebrook Subdivision Plat 1 at a cost not to exceed $97,800. Councilman Argo, will you introduce this resolution, please?
Yes, Mr. President. Whereas the Prattville Planning Commission granted final approval of Pendlebrook Subdivision Plat 1 on January 21, 2010, contingent on a letter of credit being provided in lieu of required improvements, and whereas the owner of said subdivision, Garden Park LLC, failed to complete the unfinished improvements requiring the City of Prattville to draw against the posted letter of credit in order to complete the unfinished infrastructure. And whereas the City Council of the City of Prattville accepted all public improvements in Pendlebrook Subdivision Plat 1 for permanent maintenance by Resolution Book 2011, page 068, on April the 5th, 2011. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that the Mayor is authorized to execute any and all contracts necessary to complete the unfinished improvements in Plat 1. Said authorization shall not exceed, and fees shall be paid from the $97,800 Pendlebrook account line item collected for the incomplete improvements. Mr. President, I so move.
Mr. Argo has moved this resolution. Is there a second? Second. Seconded by Councilman Fink. Any questions or comments on this resolution? This resolution does not require suspension of the rules because it is a budgeted item. All in favor of this resolution signify by raising your right hand. Any opposition by like sign? Seeing none, the resolution is adopted. Next item is a resolution to set a public hearing to declare various wooded lots to be a public nuisance and ordering their abatement per Title 11, Chapter 67. The Code of Alabama 1975 is amended. Councilman Fink, would you please introduce this resolution?
Whereas an abundance of overgrown grass or weeds is injurious to the public health, safety, and general welfare by providing a breeding ground and shelter for rats, mice, snakes, and mosquitoes and other vermin. And number 2, may cause the further spread of weeds. Number 3, may hide debris such as glass or metal that could inflict injury on a person going to such property. And 4, may also pose a fire hazard and respiratory hazard. And whereas 11-67-1 of the Code of Alabama 1975 as amended permits the City Council of the City of Prattville to declare an abundance of overgrown grass and weeds to be a public nuisance, and whereas the Prattville Planning Department has inspected the properties at the following addresses and determined the existence of an abundance of overgrown grass and weeds: 417 Bedford Terrace, 1931 Calumet Parkway, 211 Gardenia Court, 116 Guilford Lane, 1658 Hawthorne Lane, 132 Patrick Street, 103 2 Street, 653 Thomas Avenue, 639 Woodvale Road, 209 J Street. Now therefore be it resolved that 1, the City Council of the City of Prattville declares the abundance of overgrown grass and weeds at the above listed addresses to be a public nuisance. 2, the owners of said property, as they appear in the records of the Autauga County or Elmore County Revenue Commissioners, are ordered to abate the abundance of overgrown grass and weeds. And number 3, the owners of said property are ordered to appear before the City Council of the City of Prattville at a public hearing at 6 p.m. on September 6th, 2011 in the Prattville City Hall. Notice of such hearing and a copy of this resolution shall be sent by certified mail to owners of said property. Mr. President, I so move.
Councilman Fink has moved this resolution. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilman Striplin. Any questions or comments about this resolution? All in favor of adopting this resolution signify by raising your right hand. Any opposition by like sign? Seeing none, this resolution passes. Last item on our agenda is a resolution to authorize the mayor to execute a contract with Jackson Thornton and Company, PC, for auditing services for fiscal year 2011 at a cost of $75,000. This will require a suspension of the rules since we're encumbering funds that have not yet been budgeted. Councilman Wood, will you introduce this resolution, please?
Whereas Jackson Thornton and Company, PC, provided auditing services to the City of Prattville for fiscal year 2010, and where it has been determined that Jackson Thornton and Company, PC, will best serve in their auditing capacity to provide the city with the necessary expertise in this endeavor. And whereas the City of Prattville desires to continue the audit service relationship, and whereas the City of Prattville desires that the city's fiscal year 2011 audit service be awarded to the firm of Jackson Thornton and Company, PC. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Prattville hereby authorizes the mayor to execute a contract with Jackson Thornton and Company, PC, and funds in the amount of $75,000 are hereby approved and appropriated to be paid from the finance auditing line item in the fiscal year 2011-2012 budget. Be it further resolved, if a single audit is necessary, the cost will be an additional $12,000. Mr. Chair, I so move.
Mr. Wood has moved this resolution. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilman Fink. By point of order, this will hold unless there is a move to suspend the rules.
So move.
Moved by Councilman Wood to suspend the rules. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilman Fink. Is there any discussion on the motion to suspend the rules? All in favor of suspending the rules signify by raising your right hand. Any opposition by like sign? Seeing none, the rules are suspended. The resolution is properly before us. Is there any comments or questions about this resolution before we bring it to a vote? All in favor of this resolution signify by raising your right hand. Any opposition by like sign? Seeing none, this resolution is also adopted. This time we'll open the floor up for comments from any persons present that would like to address the council on any item. It does not have to be on the agenda, but if you have business to bring before the city council or have comments, we'll entertain them at this time. Is there anyone that has a comment for the city council? Yes, sir, in the back. I know who you are, but please identify yourself when you get up to the mic with your name and your address, please, sir, for the record.
Thank you. I'm Carl Hawthorne, 704 Emerald Drive. I'm sorry I came in a little late. I probably should have made this comment prior to your approval of the Jackson Thornton. It wouldn't have made a difference anyhow, I'm sure. But I have a couple of questions. And first of all, I'd like to congratulate the mayor and council and whoever's responsible for reporting our finances in the local papers. You're doing a lot better job. I thought last week's article was excellent. But people can tell where we are, exactly what I've tried and have been asking for, and I'm sure people are tired of hearing about it. But at least it looks like somebody's listening, and I think the report was well stated. I think the savings, I don't think that we can or overemphasize the amount of savings that we've made from the expenses from the city. Those are significant budgetary savings that we've made. We talk about income. It's really no different than the federal problems we're having right now. It's income versus expenditure. But our expenditures have been substantially less than the previous years, and I want to congratulate everybody for that. I have a question regarding the audit, Jackson Thornton. And is there anybody here? Is it okay to ask if there's anybody here from Jackson Thornton to ask? I'm
well,
asking.
Actually, Mr. Hawthorne, you're addressing the council. Now, you can ask me if there's somebody here.
All right. Over the years, Jackson Thornton has, am I correct, done most of our audits?
That is correct.
Okay. Having been through probably hundreds of audits, if not 1,000 in my lifetime, I'm somewhat familiar with how audits go. And most audits have, at the end of an audit, you have exceptions. And these exceptions are usually what you respond to, you try to correct, and you try to get that taken care of. I'm wondering how we can pay $75,000 for an audit, and yet we have a financial situation where there's huge sums missing from the retirement, from the paving, from our reserves, and yet nobody knows about it. And I don't know if there was actually an exception on the last audit regarding those items. You please correct me if I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. The last, I don't know if it's the last audit or not, I saw somebody where they were concerned about how the petty cash account was being handled in the mayor's office, about people putting checks in and taking out, and they were concerned about that. And I'm asking the question, why do we worry about a couple dollars here and a couple dollars there and not really have an audit? An audit is to explain to all of you where we are, what our problems are, what the exceptions are, what do we have to do to correct them. I never heard of a word about that. And I don't know if any of you ever saw it. Was it in the audit that were we deficient in these areas? Please answer. I don't know. I can't seem to get an answer from that. Bill? The mayor, I'm sorry.
Would you like to address Mr. Hawthorne on that?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for coming down. And in the audit letters that we have gotten, I have found some deficiencies in there, and we're working very diligently to have those deficiencies remedied. One of them, for example, is the IT department. It showed where it was at risk because of being in the basement of the annex, and that is one of the things that we've been working toward. And there's some other items out there that I would really I'd be glad to go to lunch with you one day and talk that over with you instead of here in this public forum.
Okay, well, you understand where I'm coming from, and that's all I'm trying to do is clarify. If we're going to pay for an audit, let's have a real audit. Let's really have the true numbers come out. Let's have our, quote, full disclosure.
Full disclosure is our new terminology.
Okay, well, that's my concern, and I thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you being with us tonight. Would anyone else like to address the council at this time? Seeing none, Mayor, do you have any other comments before we go into executive session?
Yes, sir.
Go right
I
ahead.
just want to thank Stephanie Sutherland for the last 7 years or so that she's had to put up with me, and I'm proud that you guys showed that she has proven to all of us that she is capable of the job, and she has been a very hard worker for the city, and she definitely deserves this position. And I'm just hope that maybe one day I can be as hard of a worker as she is. Thank you.
Councilman Striplin.
Yes, sir. Very briefly, recently I've had several citizens that have commented to me that their dealings with city employees have been in an extremely positive manner and experience, and I wanted to pass that on and express my personal appreciation for your efforts in dealing with our community. And also to Stephanie, thank you for your help in the short time I've been here.
Councilman Wood.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Let me just say to all employees, I appreciate what you all are doing, because it's a task. Everybody's got a challenge before them, a challenge that we've only just begun. Everybody heard that song, We've Only Just Begun? Well, we've only just begun. And it's extremely pleasing to know that all of you all, especially the interim department heads, who have taken on the challenge to lead these departments day by day in these difficult circumstances. And this is a universal thing that we're dealing with, not just the city of Prattville. It seems like sometimes it's just pinpointed to Prattville. Prattville made a mess out of it. Well, if I read it correctly and look in the paper, the world is having financial and economic problems. So thank you all. Stephanie, to you especially, let me just say I'm going to congratulate you up front and then tell you beware of the 2012 elections because that is a challenge coming before it. I know you can handle it, and I'm sure that this council will give you all the assets that you need. So good luck with that, and thank all of you all. Thank you.
Councilman Argo.
Yes, sir. In my report about redistricting, I did fail to tell you one thing. Mr. Duke is going to be making an opportunity to meet with each of you over the next week and a half or so. Please make yourself available to him so that he can share with you the ideas that he has, so that when we begin to actually formulate the draft plan, you will already be aware of what's going on, so we won't have to do some remediation, if you will. Mr. Duke will be contacting you to do that. Number two, I do want to say that I appreciate Mr. Clinton sending out an email to us today ahead of the possibility of getting some phone calls about the difficulties that he's facing in his department. He had several people that were not able to work this week because of illness and because of injury. And Edward, I appreciate that more than you know, because a lot of times when we get telephone calls from constituents, our initial reaction is, well, I don't know anything about that. Let me call somebody who does. And you took the bull by the horns, reported that to us. That was very helpful, and I appreciate you doing that. And I just want to tell you how much I do appreciate that. And then number three, Mr. President, I do want to tell the council that it's been a pleasure to serve as the chair of the Wastewater and Redistricting Committee, and I just, not being in a leadership position but being in a committee position has given me a better appreciation for how committees are supposed to work, and I just want to tell you how much I appreciate that. Thank you.
Councilman Miller.
Just a quick question for the mayor. I meant to ask this earlier, but it wasn't clear if the Tauga Creek, and I know that you had pulled together a citizen committee to look at that, if they had cleared it for, easy canoe passage. It seemed like in one article in the paper it said quoted you or said it had been clear, and then in another source it sounded like that was a task still to be done. So I just would appreciate some clarification on that.
How about this? I helped the economy of City of Prattville by going out and buying a kayak, and I have been down it. And it can be challenging for some and not for others. So my advice or suggestion would be go buy a kayak, help the economy of Prattville, and go down the Togga Creek and see for yourself, in all due respect.
Drew, can you answer my question?
It is open.
Thank you.
Councilman Bowles.
No report, but I did want to say something to the employees. Saturday after those articles hit about the financial situation and where we've cut back, my phone exploded like it always does when anything hits the paper. And the number one question is, how is this possible? Because I haven't seen any changes in our services. That speaks volumes of not only the department heads, but also the employees. And I say congratulations to you for those phone calls, because the citizens were shocked because they have not seen a change in their city services. So thank you very much.
Councilman Fink.
Yes, I feel obligated to, as well, like everybody else has, to I guess comment on Stephanie and congratulate her. It can only be said one way, and that is that you do a great job. I'm thankful for your friendship personally and the relationship we have professionally as well. So I thank you, and I know your husband is here with you, supporting you. I know you've probably taken a problem or two home that we may not know you are frustrated with, and he probably gets to hear that. So I apologize to you, but thank you.
All right. Our legal counsel has asked us to go into executive session. We have a legal matter to discuss, so you don't have to wait for us to come into session. When we finish our executive session, the meeting will also come to a close. Our next regularly scheduled City Council meeting is it's scheduled for Tuesday, August the 16th, 2011 at 6 p.m. right here in the council chambers. This time, the chair will entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Argo. Is there a second? All in favor signify by raising your right hand. We will go into executive session.